everyone, this is Kenita, the agent slash investor. And this topic is not only just professional, but it's also personal to me too. I have seen how divorce can not only just impact the family, but also can impact the home. But I also have firsthand experience with it. A few years ago, my parents had went through a divorce, and it had a huge aftermath on it and our family, not just emotionally, but financially and practically. I want to share a bit about my family story and what happens to your home after a divorce. I hope it can help you if you are going through this or going through something similar like this. The emotional side of it when it comes to the home. When my parents got a divorce, it was one of the most difficult things that had happened in our lives. It was a battle over the family home. For me and my siblings, the house wasn't just a place to live in, it was where we created all our memories. I grew look, it was just not the place that we just lived in. It was a place that where we created all our memories. Growing up felt like the important thing that was like a family knit to us. But when emotions run high during divorce, sometimes the home becomes a symbol of everything that has been lost. My parents waited up until my sister graduation, which is that was either 2001 or not 2001, 2021 or 2022. So after she graduated from high school, of course, they made a decision to go ahead, instead of spending time and celebrating memories of her big day, we basically packed up and moved to a complete new city, which is me, my mom, my sister, and my son at the time frame had moved to Richmond. My dad moved to somewhere else, and my brother had moved in with right now his fiance. The moment was really tough. It felt like we were saying goodbye to everything that we have new, and the house that had held all our memories was no longer ours anymore. Now, what is your options that you can understand during a divorce? Divorce is very messy, and when it comes to the home, you have a few options, but let's break that down. Selling a home, this option can help both parties move on, but it's also without its challenges. You figure out how you're going to divide the equity, and the emotion side of things can go along with it, and it can be tough. For my family, the house wasn't taken care of because neither of my parents wanted to take on the responsibility to have anything fixed in the home. It basically had fallen apart. Selling the home was the best option, and it was the path that we had took. But for other people, it may not be the path that they want to take. One spouse can keep the home. This is where refinancing comes into play. One spouse might want to keep the house, but the option isn't always simple as it sounds. You need to make sure that one party can afford the home on their own, and it may require some refinancing of the mortgage. Co-owning the home temporarily sometimes can opt out to co-own the home for both parties up until they are ready to make the final decision. This is what my parents did in the beginning before they got a divorce. And this especially when there are children that is involved, and there are other desires to keep the stability for them. The financial considerations. Now, the financing side of this may include the courts might have to divide the home as an asset during divorce processing, and this is where having a solid understanding of the home values and equity and what involves in the sales of the transaction can make a big difference. If one person is keeping the house, they likely need to refinance the mortgage to be able to buy out the other party, especially in the state of Virginia. This can be tricky, especially if one spouse doesn't qualify for refinancing on their own. In my parents' case, they didn't reach the financial agreement, of course, and in that process, well, I take that back. In my case, my family did reach a financial agreement. they decided to go ahead and sell the family home. But either way, it had helped a lot. And what I would say, and I know I'm rambling on, but it was a tough decision that both parties had to go through. The home had lost its value due to because nobody was not keeping up with the maintenance of it. Selling the home was the best option, and it was the path that we had took. But for other people, it may not be the path that they want to take. Now, making the right decisions. So how do you make the right decisions? Here are a few tips. Ignore the emotional side of things, but also consider your long-term financial stabilities. The home really holds sentimental values to a lot of people in the home. Children, dogs, cats, don't matter. But your future is what matters the most. Seek professional advice. This is where a real estate agent, financial advisor, or lawyers can be valuable to you. You want to make sure that you understand all of your needs and your options and the implications of your decision. Making a plan together, if possible, try to work together to make a plan for the home. Okay, whether if it's selling it or keeping it, or trying to figure out a temporary solution. Communication and understanding is the key. Moving forward after the decision. At the end of the day, no matter what decision you make, you have to remember that this is the beginning of a new chapter. It may feel like you're losing everything when you're walking away from the family home, but there is so much ahead of you. I know from experience that while the emotions are heavy and high, times heals and new opportunities come your way. Far as for me and my family, it wasn't easy to leave the house, but we all found new ways to thrive in different ways and creating our own path. If you are going through a divorce and struggling with what to do with your family home, please reach out. Divorce is tough, but you don't have to go through this alone. If you always need help, I'll link everything in the description box. I am Kenita, the agent/investor, and y'all have a lovely day. Bye.